Nityanandam everyone, welcome to Bhagavad Gita Demystified with Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam. So a link to the online book is included here with the video. Last time we covered the background of Bhagavad Gita, and so today we're going to get into introduction, and next time we'll get into the invocation verse and the first verses of Bhagavad Gita. So today we'll continue with introduction. So I'm starting with the introduction. You can follow along, and next time we'll get into the first verses. So the introduction. In this series, Enlightened Master Paramahamsa Nityananda comments on Bhagavad Gita. Many hundreds of commentaries on Gita have been written over the years. The earliest commentaries were by the great spiritual masters such as Adi Shankara, Ramanuja, and Madhava, some 1,000 years ago. In recent times, great masters such as Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Ramana Maharishi have spoken from Gita extensively. Many others have written volumes on this great scripture. Nityananda's commentary on Bhagavad Gita is not just a literary translation and a simple explanation of that translation. He takes the reader through a world tour while talking about each verse. It is believed that each verse of Gita has 7 levels of meaning. What is commonly rendered is the first level meaning. Here, an enlightened master takes us beyond the common into the uncommon with equal ease and simplicity. To read Nityananda's commentary on Gita is to obtain an insight that is rare. It is not mere reading. It is an experience. It is meditation. Shankara, the great master and philosopher, said, "A little reading of Gita, a drop of Ganga water to drink, remembering Krishna once in a while, all this will ensure that you have no problems with the god of death." Editors of these volumes of Bhagavad Gita have expanded upon the original discourses delivered by Nityananda through further discussions with him. For ease of understanding for English-speaking readers and in their academic interest, the original Sanskrit verses and their English translation have been included as an appendix to this book. This reading is meant to help every individual in daily life as well as in the endeavor to realize the ultimate truth. It creates every possibility to attain Nityananda, eternal bliss. Bhagavad Gita Shastras, Stotras, Sutras. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, Chapter 1. Life will always be a mix of the good and the bad, the divine and the evil. Choosing one over the other does not help. We need to go beyond both. Beyond scriptures. There are millions of scriptures and millions of books on planet Earth. From time immemorial, human beings have created scriptures and still continue to create spiritual books, but Bhagavad Gita is incomparable. Unlike any other, this book has penetrated human consciousness so deeply. Bhagavad Gita is the unabridged dictionary and encyclopedia of spirituality. Spiritual literature can be classified into 3 categories. First, we have Shastras. Shastras give us clarity about the goal of human life. They give intellectual understanding about the ultimate truth of man and God. Shastras logically and intellectually answer all major questions. Through them, we can be logically convinced to follow the ultimate path. There are many examples. The 10 Commandments, the Shruti and Smriti of Hindu religion, the Vedas, Upanishads, Manusmriti, epics such as Ramayana, the Bible, Quran, Dhammapada of Buddha, Zendavesta of Zoroaster, and the Jewish Kabbalah are Shastras. The second category of literature is Stotras. It is the expression of someone who has realized the ultimate truth. The third type of literature, called Sutras, gives us techniques to realize the state of uniting with the divine. Shastras give us intellectual understanding. Stotras give emotional feeling, and Sutras give the being level experience. Shastras are like signboards that explain the basics of life. People who are intellectually oriented need Shastras, intellectual scriptures. These people do not do anything unless they are intellectually convinced. We cannot say that because of this attitude they should not seek spirituality. Then we would be refusing to give spirituality to almost 90% of humanity. We should create a system through which we can reach every individual. Our Vedic seers created the Shastras. They logically taught us the path and the goal, and why we are asked to do all these things, why we need spirituality. All these major questions are answered logically and intellectually in Shastras. Shastras completely take away our doubts. One thing we should understand about intellectual clarity is that unless we have complete intellectual clarity, our belief will be a pseudo-belief. Anyone can shake our faith. Our faith is almost like a building without a foundation. It will collapse any time. The same will happen to us if we don't have the base of Shastras. A person asked the great Master Vivekananda, "Master, what is the importance of Veda and why should we study the scriptures?" Vivekananda said, "If you study the scriptures, all your faith and sincerity will become so strong that nobody will be able to shake you. Otherwise, any fool can tell us what we are doing is superstitious, and we will start having doubts about ourselves. We may think we believe in something, but our faith or belief is not deep enough. Unless we have the deep foundation of Shastras, we will not be able to believe in anything." I see all types of people who say they believe in what they think. One man said, "Oh Master, I love the whole world. Again and again, I tell people that to love the world is easy, but to love your wife is very difficult." We can always say, "Vasudeva Kudampakam. The world is my family." The problem is that we are not in tune with our own family. We think we love, but we don't really love. This is because we don't have the intellectual conviction. If we have only faith without intellectual clarity, our faith can be shaken by anybody. Shastras give a base so that all our convictions, all our faith can enter into our being and start working. Devotion, a touchstone. Bhakti devotion is an alchemy process. It is as if a touchstone has touched us. Ramakrishna says beautifully, if a touchstone touches any metal, it becomes gold. Just a touch of the stone is enough for any metal to be converted into gold. Devotion is a touchstone. The moment devotion touches us, we become divine. The problem is that we never allow devotion to penetrate our being. We may think we want the divine, and as long as it is superficial, as long as it is under our control, things go well. The moment that devotion enters our being and starts the process, we say, no, I think that's too much for me. We stop at a certain point. A small story. A guy was an atheist. One day he fell from a cliff and was hanging onto a small branch. Slowly the branch started giving way. The man started shouting, "Oh God, I never believed in you, but now I do. Please save me." A booming voice from heaven said, "Oh my son, don't worry. Just let go of the branch and I will save you." Immediately the man responded, "Is there anybody else out there who can save me?" Our faith is just a show. God is only one of the many choices for us. If we don't have any other commitment, any other party on a particular day, we go to the temple. Until we have an intellectual conviction about life, God is just one more shop for us, like Walmart and Kmart. A small story. There was a grandmother in a village. She went to the city to visit her 5-year-old grandson who lived with his parents. At bedtime, she went to her grandson's room to wish him good night. The boy was praying. She asked him, "Do you say your prayers every night?" He replied, "Yes." She asked, "And what about in the morning?" The boy replied, "No, I'm not scared in the daytime." This is our relationship with God. We remember God only when we need something. When things go well according to our chosen route, then God is great. Else, throw away the God. If they pass the exams, they break coconuts in front of Ganesha temples, but if they fail, they break the Ganesha idol itself. Our faith is pseudo if it is not life-transforming. We do not allow devotion to work on us. A beautiful verse In the scriptures of Vedanta says, to clear your intellect, you must break your intellect. You must open your intellect and have a clear intellectual understanding about life, about spirituality, about everything. Shastras give us that intellectual clarity, that intellectual understanding. All the great devotional people like Chaitanya, Ramanuja, and Madhava had a strong intellectual base. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a great Nyayaka, philosopher. It is only when you reach the peak of logic you can fall into the valley of love. All great masters who reached the peak of intellect had a strong Shastra's base. Next are the stotras. Stotra means expressing our love or devotion to our master or God. Many people ask, Swamiji, why does Hinduism have idol worship? Hinduism does not have idol worship. We worship through the idol. We do not worship the idol itself. When we stand in front of the idol, do we say, "Oh stone, give me a boon"? No, we say, "Oh God, please save me." We worship through the idol. In Vaishnavism, the devotional stream of Hinduism, there is a beautiful word, Archavatara. Archavatara means incarnation of God. Incarnation means the divine descending on planet Earth. These idols are the incarnations of God. We worship through the idol. When we stand in front of the idol and pour our heart out, this expression is stotras. All the songs written by great devotees like Alvars, Nayanmars, Mira, and Chaitanya are stotras. People ask me, Swamiji, sometimes I don't feel like chanting these stotras. Should I do it mechanically even if I don't like doing it? I say do it. You may feel it is mechanical exercise at first, however, it will become your being once you start enjoying and experiencing what you express. It will become your feeling. When you express your heart, it becomes stotra. Next is sutras. Sutras give us the techniques to reach enlightenment. Shastras are from the intellectual level. Stotras are from the emotional level. Sutras are from the being level. There are three kinds of human beings: head-oriented, heart-oriented, and being-oriented. To fulfill everyone, our enlightened sages have created three kinds of literature: Shastras, Stotras, and Sutras. Bhagavad Gita is the only book that is a combination of Shastras, Stotras, and Sutras and something more. In Bhagavad Gita, all three are combined with something more. Gita is Shastras. It gives a clear intellectual understanding about life, soul, as well as the do's and don'ts. Just explaining do's and don'ts will not help. Giving the intellectual reason for it is necessary. Very few books give reasons why we should or should not do something. Gita is the only book I know that gives a strong intellectual clarity and understanding about what we should do. Within the Vedic literature, our masters have chosen three books called Prastanantraya that are the ultimate authorities in spirituality. They are the Brahma Sutra, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita. Vedavyasa, an enlightened master, wrote the Brahma Sutra. Many enlightened masters taught Upanishad. However, Gita is directly from God, from a Purnavatar, a perfect incarnation, Krishna. Krishna, the Purnavatar. Why is Krishna considered the only perfect incarnation? Why can't he be just one more incarnation? First, understand why incarnations come to planet Earth. Ramakrishna recounts beautifully. There was a beautiful paradise with many trees and varieties of flowers and fruit. Three friends were walking near this paradise. It had a big wall around it. One of them climbed the wall and peeped inside. He cried out, "Oh my God, such a beautiful place." He jumped into the garden and started enjoying the fruit. The second man climbed the wall and saw the garden. He turned and said to the third man, who was below, "Dear friend, there is a beautiful paradise below. Come, I'm going in." Saying this, he jumped over and started enjoying the fruit. The third man climbed the wall and saw the paradise. He saw his two friends and understood the level of joy and bliss that they were enjoying. Then he said to himself, "Let me go down and tell all the people about this beautiful paradise. I will bring them all to enjoy this garden. An incarnation is someone who comes down to tell others about the blissful place that he experienced. The man who descends from the divine to express the bliss of that divinity is an incarnation. The person who returns to planet Earth to tell you about divinity and to make you realize that he has experienced is an incarnation. A scientist is one who creates a formula to understand the things of the outer world. For example, Newton saw the apple falling from the tree. Suddenly, some understanding came to him. Why is this falling? Why shouldn't it go up? Newton glimpsed the truth at that moment. He analyzed and created the theory of gravity, a formula so that everybody could understand what happens when an object falls. In the same way, enlightened spiritual master is one who creates a formula to reproduce his inner world experiences. Meditation technique is a formula. An incarnation is one who can directly give the experience without even using the formula. He has descended to teach divinity to the world. Why is Krishna a perfect incarnation? He has all the qualities needed to push human beings to divinity. He is called Jagat Guru, the Guru who awakens. He's the teacher, the master of the whole universe. Next time is the invocation verse of Bhagavad Gita. So that is just passing. Page looks like 8. So thank you very much. Next time we'll get into the invocation verse of Bhagavad Gita. And we'll close today's session chanting Purna Mantra. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nityananda Parameshiva Parukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you, Nityanandam.